As I had mentioned yesterday, um, with at least myself, with my behavior, with the way that I operate, I know that if I don't do something every day, if I don't do something every day, like anything, no matter what it is, like fitness, if I don't do it every day, something with fitness, then I'm just gonna blow it off, right? Pause, but I'm just not gonna do it. If I don't do it every day, I'm not gonna do it. And see, that's what's been my struggle for a long time. So certain things to do, it's like I like to do it, but I really can't do anything because I'm so busy all the time, right? Busy at not making money, all right, which makes it a little bit even more damn serious, right? I mean, one thing to be very busy, making a lot of money, and then you can pay people to do stuff and take care of stuff for you. It's another thing when you're busy as hell, you don't make no money, and then all your stuff is all messed up. But anyways, no, I thought I would come online because um just to do it, like I said, if I don't do it today, oh, there's a chance I'm not gonna do it tomorrow. And then perhaps I won't even do it the next day, and then it keeps on building and building, you know what I'm saying? I don't know who else out there is kinda like that. But if you are, then we're in the same damn boat now. As I have mentioned, it's gonna be kind of a theme, it's gonna be kind of something undeniable. Is that we're all up in World War III. People think it's a joke. People think I'm being rhetorical. I'm not. Death, devastation, extreme poverty that we don't even understand yet, probably. All sort of malarkey and shenanigans upon our heads, right? No, not 20 years from now. This year, it's going to be bad, real bad. How bad? I don't know. I don't know how bad, but it's going to be definitely different. All right. Remember, I said last Christmas that this was going to be the last Christmas. What did I mean by that? I don't know. Sometimes we say prophetic things. For example, I was reminded again. I want to tell you a quick story, just real quick. Uh, my boy, Alex Jones, y'all might know who that is. I discovered personally Alex Jones in and around 2010 when I first started hearing about him. And then, but here's the thing about it: Alex Jones was around way before 2010, and one of the biggest things he's known for is something that Tucker Carlson brought up just the other day with our man Joe Rogan. He was on the Joe Rogan Experience, and he's not the first one to bring it up, but he reminded me again that Alex Jones did indeed predict with disturbing precision how 9/11 was going to go down, and I'm talking about months before the fact. All right, so sometimes you just say some prophetic things. Ain't gonna be no Christmas. I'm not happy to say that, but it's the end, right, of this charade or whatever. I don't know, this facade or whatever you call it. And it's the beginning. World War III is the beginning of the Great Reset, or something like that. It's either the beginning of something very, very terrible or the beginning of something that's very, very amazing and beautiful. I really couldn't tell you. I couldn't call it. But for whoever's up in the building, it's the beginning of something different. Regardless, in the interim, in the transitional period, this year and for however long, it's going to be painful. And before we just peruse the internet real quick tonight, I do want to be the bearer of bad news and tell you right now that it's going to be painful. What I'm talking about, what you might be talking about, what we're talking about right now, this transitional period, the end of this era, the end of, say, the United States of America, the end of this world as we know it, and the beginning of something else. It's going to be a lot of pain. And it's like, I say that as though it's obvious because to me it is obvious. There's going to be a lot of pain involved. And in fact, shout out to Alex Jones the other day. He's kind of talking about this. He said it's going to be pain like you just wouldn't know. And something that I was kind of like talking about and alluding to the other day when I was talking about, and shout out to my heart surgery. That was about a year ago. It was kind of something I was alluding to the other day, but I just really could not articulate myself in saying, okay, basically what happened was something real bad. And then I had to have two surgeries. And this was about a year ago. And during the time that I spent in the hospital, there was like a handful of occasions that your boy had experienced the worst pain that I'd ever experienced in my life. Probably like 3 or 4 times that happened while I was in the hospital. Believe it or not, the most painful experience was the constipation. All right, not the surgery. Just to let you know, it got wild. All right, but then a year later, just about a month ago, your boy then came down with some sort of stomach flu or something like that. And it's not really related. You really can't relate the two. However, it was a damn nightmare for a week on this stomach flu thing. I mean, I'm talking about nausea and pain, inexplicable pain. And then the next week after that, I actually recovered, but I was still recurring symptoms of that nightmare for about a week. So in total, it took about 2 weeks. And I shout out to the two people up in the building. But okay, what was dawning on my mind was the extreme pain, and then I could remember the pains from not only a year ago, the pain, and I really was dwelling upon it. I mean, that's the thing about it. People don't really want to think about the future like that. You know how like people don't like to think about when I'm gonna die. Typically, they don't typically like to do it. But I think we've all known people who got old, you know, relatives usually, and we see them get real old. Shoot, man, and like whether or not they admit it, lots of times there's pain involved. It's pain, lots of times, from just being so old, all right, or getting yourself into some situations in which you're going to experience a lot of pain, right? So, in dwelling upon this for a while, I was thinking to myself, it's like, okay, if I'm being reasonable, no matter how my life on this earth chooses to end itself, it's likely going to be pain somewhere in between there. Between here and there, there's probably going to be some pain, right? And it could be more pain than I've ever experienced before in my life. And if it is, that's a shit ton of pain, right? That's a lot of pain. And so that kind of a thing, like for me, and so I can assume for other people, it's a scary thought. And you kind of hope to yourself, you kind of think to yourself, man, I hope that when I have to go from here. I hope it's not that unbelievably gruesome and painful and savage. I hope the way that I go. But the thing is, hardly anybody has a choice. All right. Some people cryogenically freeze themselves or something, or they freeze their brains and stuff. They think it's a choice. But most of us don't have a choice on how gruesome our death is going to be. So it was this realization. It's like almost liberating to think, okay, I have no idea how painful my death's going to be and stuff, man. So to be scared of a painful death is almost kind of silly, almost because we really can't tell. And so if you go down that line of reasoning, you start to if you start to double down that rabbit hole, you start to think, wow, and the Bible is kind of it really is correct. It's like you shouldn't really have fear for anything because it's like the pain perhaps is inevitable what's coming. And so with that in mind, I figured, I got some pain ahead of me, probably. I might as well just go all out. And that's what I was talking about yesterday. Might as well just go all out because I cannot imagine there's going to be some long period of time for me to just straight chill out and be a lazy bum and just like maybe getting paid a little bit and stuff. And then I live a long, long time and enjoy different whatevers that people used to enjoy uh, throughout America, throughout this recent American history. I shouldn't assume that that's going to be the case. It doesn't make any sense. People are wilding out. All right. So it's about time to go wild, or maybe not even go wild because that's probably not appropriate. But for myself, speaking of myself, to get focused because I've never been like diagnosed with some ADHD, and if I ever was, I would slap a doctor in the nose so quick for talking all sort of trash, ADHD and stuff. But the thing is, to be quite honest, I'm not a very focused person for whatever it's worth. Or as lovable as I am, I just don't focus real hard. Or here's the problem: I'll focus real hard on something, and then I'll pick something different later, and I'll focus on that. It's just so it's a matter of focus. It's a matter of discipline, and I did want to share that with y'all on a personal note tonight. I don't know what y'all's plans are for the near future and stuff like that, or perhaps you're in the same boat. Perhaps you're in a totally different boat. Perhaps maybe you're super focused and you always been your whole life. All right. But over here, being it is what it is. We're in World War III. We're not only in World War III, we're like balls deep up in World War III. We like been up in World War III for quite some time. For all those people out there playing and pretending, and whoever wants to get up in my face and tell me we're not in World War III, you are a retard, all right? And you belong where retards go. Probably on YouTube, and that's how you found me here, all right? Whoever you are out there, shout out to the two people who's probably up in the chat room, whatever, is not retarded. And maybe I'm not retarded, but I'm not very focused, and that's why I wanted to talk about these pretty simple things before we get abreast of some of the news here. On a personal note, I want to get myself so focused and concentrated that I more or less do the same things every day over and over. Now, sometimes there could be like something that comes up and you got to do this, you got to take care of that. But sometimes, like, you need a rest day and you just need it out of nowhere. That's fine. But for me, it's very important that I focus and I do these certain things every day. The chat room's gone straight retarded and fully Gerarded. There's really no stopping it. I'm making wild allegations on X, dude. I'm making exclamations about how Joe Biden and Corn Pop took advantage of me and Burlington Coat Factory. I don't know when. I want to sue him for money. Okay? But like focus, certain things have to get done not only today, not only tomorrow, but honestly every day because that's what I'm realizing to myself. Is that if I don't, then I'll get off track and I'll just forget about it and I'll just stop doing it. What are these things that I want to get done personally every day? Number one, I don't know if it's in any particular order. In fact, I don't have it written down, but I need to start getting it written down. And I got a notebook right here to do so. I got a couple of notebooks, and I'm gonna start investing in notebooks. All right, but number one, I want to share this with y'all. It's on a personal note. The silent prayer. Silent prayer is hard to do. I don't know if anybody out there has heard of the silent prayer, or you should have been heard of Jesse Lee Peterson. Excuse me, Jesse Lee Peterson. It's actually back here. You can't really see him because he's like posted on the wall, but it's him right there. All right, I'll put him back up later. But Jesse Lee Peterson said to do the silent prayer a long time ago. A lot of people, it's hard. That's one of the hardest things that Jesse Lee Peterson will ever suggest you to do is the silent prayer. Probably the hardest thing that he'll ever suggest you do is forgive your mother. And it's dead serious, dude. And it's every human being on earth needs to forgive their mother. Trust me. He'll tell you to do that, but that's pretty hard. A lot of people do not want to do that. And to forgive your father as well for not protecting you from your mother. That's what he says to do. But furthermore, throughout life, see people have tough times and difficulties in their life, and he says to do the silent prayer. Now you can go to silentprayer.tv and really get a breakdown description of what the silent prayer is from Jesse, and it's going to make a lot more sense. But let's say if you never heard of it, I can basically say it like this, like prayers when you go into church or from out the Bible and stuff, they're full of words, right? Right? Or maybe you're asking God for something. You know how people are like, please, God, please give me this, please. Need it. I need it. Um, yeah, the different kind of prayers like that, but they involve words. People kind of trip out, and it might take a little while to like really grasp on what he's saying. Silent prayer, as it might sound, doesn't have words. Don't say words. I don't know if people have heard of it before, but basically, just to give you a rundown, I can describe it more later. You stop. You be still. As it says in the Bible, be still. It's hard to be still when stuff's going all crazy up in your head and this and that. To be still. Now he says to do it first thing in the morning and the last thing at night. And of course you might do it in between times. And it's not really set a time period for the silent prayer. It's however long that you do it. But he says, like once you get really into it, you get used to doing it all the time, you're gonna go for longer and longer probably. So what's the silent prayer? Is to say nothing. Don't ask for nothing. Don't say nothing. Like, the right thing to say. You don't. I don't either. I have no idea. So, but the silent prayer, it works because you shut the hell up. And a lot of times, this is where people get all like, I don't have a big problem with it. And I can experience why the silent prayer would give people big, big problems. Because a lot of people don't like to sit in silence. Because then their thoughts start racing and they don't like that. And it's just like all these thoughts and stuff like that. So, long story short, the silent prayer, when you continue to do it, yes, the thoughts are going to get at you. The thoughts are going to say whatever that they say. You're supposed to get used to that. You're supposed to observe the thoughts. You're supposed to know that you don't make up thoughts. You're not the inventor of thoughts. You did not make these thoughts. These thoughts came to you and you're experiencing them and you just go, wow, that's amazing. You experience it. You're the one hearing the thoughts. You're not creating the thoughts. All right, and it's liable to get you all worked up and stuff like that. But okay, the reason why it's very important to do it morning and night, every single day, is because that's really like, say, if you do it the first thing in the morning, that's what's going to get you when you do the silent prayer. And if God can get you right, right? You'll calmly go throughout the day without getting worked up so much as if you didn't do the silent prayer. Because it brings you back to a place where you have to calmly, peaceably just kind of sit with yourself, which is something a lot of people don't do. And when they don't do it, they have like the tendency of getting all worked up, getting a little bit hot under the collar. You know what I'm saying? And just maybe stabbing people, stabbing a Australian priest up in the neck or something. I don't know. I don't know what they do. But okay, so I spent too much time on that, but it's very important. Number one, silent prayer every day. Every day. Basically, more or less, I'm going to eat every day. I don't know if I had to write that down, but I plan to eat every day. All right. I decided, okay, here's what I can get done. Number one, I got to work, right? I had to do something that involves either me getting money or me perhaps potentially getting money later. That means work. You got to work every day. You don't get no days off. It doesn't mean you get money every day, but you sure work to get money every day. So there's that. There's fitness, which, man, I'm just having the time of my life. I don't know about y'all over there, but like I'm in the best shape of my life, and it's only getting better, and it's only getting better and better. You know what I'm saying? It's getting macho madness on. I can't stop it. I didn't want to stop it. All right. The fitness, although you don't have to do, I want to keep it every day. But however, like it's really kind of it is spontaneous still, but it's really kind of up to me what I do. But I want to do something every day, if not at the very least, to walk for 30 minutes, and I'll consider that being active today. All right, but fitness every day. If it's only a walk for 30 minutes, fitness, I need that. And then I figured, well, I'm on X, and I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just spinning my wheels, looking through X, looking at all the news and stuff. Maybe I'll say something outrageous. Maybe one time. Every day, I don't care if people read it or if people react to it. Just say whatever's outrageous. Put it on X. I want to do that every day. Every day. And like you might have already assumed, the streaming. The streaming I got to do every day. And even if it's a day like today in which I've said nothing of significance, even if it's a day where I'm not saying anything at all, I got to get on a live stream. I got to. Because if not, you already know it's a slippery slope, and I just won't do it. I just won't do it. Different stuff like that. Perhaps I'm thinking, write in my notebook, my notepad. Fresh and Fit told me to do it. Andy Elliott's told me to do it. I don't know. Probably countless people have told me to write stuff down in a notepad, and I'm slipping and tripping over here, not doing it. And I bet y'all ain't doing it either. I mean, some of y'all doing it. Andrew Trevino might be doing it because he's really on point like that, but most people ain't doing that, right? Most people ain't retaining them things, those morsels of knowledge that perhaps we could step upon like toadstools to the castle where we slay the dragon, get some of that princess. You know what I'm talking about? Um, that kind of stuff. Maybe I'll write 2 sentences every day of a book or something. I had the idea. I don't know. It's interesting. I had the idea. What if but the thing is, I don't talk to people on X, but maybe if I start to get to talk to people on X, I thought about what if we write a story? What if we write a book in which we're X tweeting each other the book and line by line making a book on X. All right. It sounds maybe crazy or insane babble talk, but it does remind me of it was years ago that, and I bet you there's been multiple cases of something similar, but it was years ago when I heard this one lady, she had made a book. And as far as I know, I'm sure she probably had to check in with people, but she made a book out of all of Donald Trump's tweets. Just made a whole book of all his tweets. and sold it. I think she sold a lot of it. Andrew Trevino says, "Fashion if I need to." What the hell is he talking about? I think this just got too deep. Andrew Trevino says, "That's why I have a note phone." That's very interesting, and I want to talk about that a little bit too, a little bit here for a second too, as well. Andrew Trevino, he said, "It's why I have a note phone because I can use it as an old fashioned if I need to." And I've heard certain things like that. I don't know exactly what the hell you're talking about. All right. But I have heard about certain things in which it's like, oh man, this digital device is just like paper. It's just like you're writing on paper. That might be very good. I really don't know. It sounds expensive. All right, but yeah, yeah, yeah. So, so you got the notebook, or perhaps you got the note phone, or that seems to me to be about the same amount of efficiency, probably. All right, but then on top of that, shout out to Fresh and Fit. It's not the first time I heard it, but perhaps someone needs a reminder out there to include myself. I don't have one. Um, Furthermore than the notepad is for the details throughout the day that you're going to need to retain for success later. But uh, Fed, Myron Gaines, he was talking about you got to get a whiteboard. You got to have a whiteboard. It's got to be in your room. It's got to be where you look all the time. You got to be always staring at this whiteboard, and the whiteboard has your goals on it. And either you're constantly reminded and focused on your goals, or you're constantly reminded and focused on how much of a faggot you are for not taking care of your goals. Right? There's no other way around it. You got to get a whiteboard. I don't have one, but I got to get one. And I'm going to be forced to look at it every day, every damn day. Right? I forget what else. I don't know if there's anything else they might do every day. I had to take these blood thinners every day, or I supposedly die. I got to take these supplements because I feel like they help me out. Help me out a lot. In fact, I got to holler at InfoWarsStore.com, by the way. InfoWarsStore.com, whether you believe me or not, has the top quality things that you'll ever buy, ever, period. You're going to run around and buy the same exact things of a lesser quality somewhere else. I guarantee you that. I promise you on everything, you're going to go somewhere else and either buy the same quality for more, or you're going to buy a lesser quality and that's what you get. All right. I told you about InfoWarsStore.com, but like, for example, what I need to get is a few things, but one in particular is their, what do they call it? It's a nitrous oxide booster for your blood flow. I forget what it's called. A nitro boost or something like that. Is for night. I don't know if y'all ever heard of this mumbo jumbo. It's something about science. I mean, I had a heart thing, and now I gotta take blood thinners, and now I got blood issues or whatever. I gotta like keep on it. And this nitrous oxide, whatever, this supplement, and apparently it's just the cat's meow. Everybody's talking about this stuff. I mean, I hear other people advertising very similar products, but not the same product, but similar like that use beet extracts and stuff like this. And it's for your blood flow. It's for your blood flow. Things like that. It might make sense to do it every day and stuff, man, just to keep on it every day. I don't know what else there is, but there's probably one thing I'm leaving out. All right. And if it comes to me, it comes to me, but we're going to go ahead and wind it down. All right. And I guess go ahead and see whatever shenanigans might jump out at us on the top headlines. We're not going to dive too deep. All right. Earlier, I tried to get on X on my tablet. They wouldn't let me do it. So I can't go on X right now and see what the hell's up because either had to guess my old phone number from a long time ago, which I'll never be able to guess it, or I gotta like have some sort of dialogue with people who work at X to figure out. It's like, dude, I'm already logged on to X. can't help me out and stuff. But here's the thing. Um, Technology is wild and all messed up. We're very close to the end of whatever is happening right now. But in the meantime, technology is all wild and messed up. And there's a lot of people who kind of get away from it. But unfortunately, a lot of us are kind of like all up in it as far as the technology goes. And the reason I bring that up, and I only want to talk about it real quickly, is it seems to me, and I think everybody else, that cyber crime and stuff like that and fraud is like the major, that's the biggest, fastest growing crime that there is. And so, lots of us, we're very reticent of giving information and stuff out, all sort of just more and more intimate information out. Um, to like anybody, because we're going to assume that the government is going to get it, and then China's going to get it, and everybody else and their mama is going to get all our information. And then do God knows what with it. All right, that's probably true. See, that probably is true. All right, but what's even more possible and in fact probable, inevitable, is some random like person of our status messing around and hacking into uh, system, our systems, and robbing us. All right, that's actually more likely. And so, long story short, it's like I'm doing all these sort of things, man. I've been putting fingerprints and doing this and that, authentication, all sort of details, and I got to work on it because these people are right. Everybody's getting robbed. If you have money in a bank or something, you're fixing to get robbed, dude. You can't wait for you to get robbed and stuff, man. Cyberly at all. You have anything to do with like digital money? Um, I forgot why I brought that up. Brought that up for some sort of reason. Oh yeah. Well, okay. So I'm kind of the reason I brought it up is because I was kind of annoyed at Twitter. Twitter won't let me log on and stuff, or X or whatever. It's not letting me log on, and it's just nothing I can do. It's gonna be all sort of grief if I want to log on, but technically, I should be thankful because at least it's kind of hard for someone to hack into my Twitter if they wanted to. I mean, they'll probably have an easier time than I will, but at least I know that it's a little tiny bit hard. All right, pause. So, a couple of headlines before we get up out of here. Just see what the heck you can tell us about. Arya says, "Hi, what the hell is she doing around here?" Tell her I said hello as well, and she needs to go to bed probably. But if as we wind it down right now, we're gonna get up out of here. I got some stuff to do. Feel free to tell us something retarded. Please tell us about something absurd and nightmarish, or something that just should not be possible on Earth. All right, tell us how dumb people are um, today, because we're not gonna. I'm not gonna catch everything. I'm not gonna catch every single person who decides to light their bitch ass on fire and then hand out all sort of manifestos. I'm not going to be able to keep up with every time someone does this. So I'm going to need some help from y'all out there, I'm sure. I just want to read some headline. Look at the gist that was going on. Open borders, they're talking about. I wonder what border they're talking about. Open borders. Senator finds out her longtime staffer was killed by an illegal. I shouldn't have said that. Her next step raises eyebrows. I'm sure it does. I don't know who that is, and it sounds typical. Beatty says that Beatty, whoever Beatty is, he says, if you want to know what politics looks like without Trump, study the weak, sad face of Michael Johnson. Now, you might not know who Michael Johnson is. All right, I barely know who he is, and I barely know what he does. All right, but he is a faggot on YouTube. That is, if I got my free speech. I mean, like some people blend right into the background, and it's like you would never, you, you would really walk right past him, even if you knew him. That's the kind of person he is, and you'd just be talking with your friend, be like, "Oh, just pretend you don't like see this guy." Just, but he like, man, they'll put anything. They'll put anything as like the House Speaker or whatever else and stuff 'cause they don't got no respect for us. Here's the thing, and this goes for Donald Trump too. I'm gonna talk some mess. Um, y'all be like nominating and putting people. Hey, we got a Mike Johnson, and we're gonna put him as the speaker. And we're gonna see what he does. I've never heard of a faggot named Michael Johnson, dude. I've never heard of this guy. I never want to hear about this guy. It's like, dude, what kind of pathetic little nothings are y'all putting in there? And then it's all a game on us. That's what I wonder. Our country has become stupid. That's the headline. Our country has become stupid. And by the way, as it's kind of like as we loosen up here a little bit on YouTube because we just don't give a fuck. They can come like and do whatever, ban us, and it really doesn't matter. We're just having some fun. Um, it's like okay, well, let's just talk however we want to talk. And that being said, man, shout out if you hadn't heard this Tucker Carlson and Joe Rogan interview. Not only does it go real hard in the paint, and you should have heard about it because it pretty much went viral. But like, I never heard Tucker Carlson say "fuck" and "shit" and "motherfucker" as much. Like, I never like dreamt of hearing Tucker Carlson say "motherfucker," and so that was worth it. That alone was worth the price of the ticket, which is for free on Spotify. The last see, and we're on Revolver.news just to let you know because we're not on X. But shout out Revolver.news because that's probably one of the best places you can even go to get it. It's like certain places where you can get an aggregation of some pretty damn good news. Revolver.news, National File comes to mind, and there's different various things, Paul Joseph Watson and all that. Alex Jones, and we're going to finish on this headline. And then we'll take a quick look at Drudge, which is kind of the complete opposite. If you ever heard of the Drudge Report, it is Satan's um, asshole. All right, basically. Alex Jones shares bombshell clip revealing how we're in the final days of the Dems' flowered pivot strategy. And that's interesting. I don't really, we can't look at it right now because we're winding it down. But yes, in the final days, in fact, everybody's saying this rhetoric. All right, if I'm the only person who who keeps saying the final days that this is it, then you're not listening to all the people who like everybody who I listen to. They're not all like doomsday preppers who I'm listening to. They're regular ass normal people, and all of them are saying it. And so it's like for the people out there who's like either naive or maybe purposefully naive. I mean, really, you gotta ignore everybody. You have to ignore everybody and hope that everybody is wrong because everybody I'm hearing from keeps saying the same shit. We're all fucked up, right? And so, shout out to what we were talking about last night and that, for all these people out here who think Q is a thing, God bless you and I love you. Anything that Donald Trump secretly having military coups behind the scenes and everybody has been taken away to Guantanamo Bay and neutralized and stuff like that because Q is JFK or something. It's like, It's like it's like, oh, he's got some 5D ch- chess going on. This plan, the plan involves us being in miserable poverty right now, currently, and getting in worse and worse. The Q plan involves crime being rampant all over the nation, no matter where you go. The Q plan, in which Donald Trump secretly deleted Joe Biden, the Pope, and everybody else somehow. That Q plan still involves the southern border being wide open and all sort of children going missing. It's like, dude, this is a very elaborate plan. But this Q plan, I hope this Q plan better become like visible real soon, real soon. But on the Drudge Report, as we get up out of here, I want to wish y'all a good night, and I appreciate y'all. And we're gonna come back tomorrow, perhaps a little bit more prepared. We got plans. Like, okay, figure live stream on YouTube, right? Because that's where people know how to find you, where to find you, and so it's pretty good. I want to eventually live stream on Rumble, but here's the thing: people don't check for people on Rumble who's live streaming necessarily. For the most part, I mean, there's exceptions, but for the most part, I have noticed that Rumble's still in this kind of its infancy, sort of. It's kind of like it's like adolescence. That people don't check for live streamers on Rumble. They either know people, go to Rumble, subscribe to those people, and follow them when they live stream. That's it. They don't. So you're not going to build a live streaming audience on Rumble. You'd have to perhaps do it on YouTube. So that's what I'm fixing to do. Um, it is key for streamers who want to become popular, and everybody knows this. It is key to have consistency, regardless of what's your type or what's your like demographic or who you're shooting for, your target audience. You got to be consistent. Period, and everybody knows that. I have never been consistent just because like that's never been the goal for me. And I've always had other crap to do. I've always had to like desperately pay bills and stuff like that. So I decided might as well if we're on the final stretch. If it's like you might as well throw all in. Then it'd be streaming every day. Right? It'd be streaming every day. I forgot what I was getting at. Tesla accelerates rollout of new EVs as profit plunges. And I don't know all what that means. I know it's going to be a wild ride. It's very exciting. And I was told that Elon Musk the other day was actually neutralized and that there's a clone of Elon Musk that's operating right now. And it's part of the Q plan or something. But in all honesty, this is pretty amazing to watch. You got this Elon Musk guy out here, and he's kind of like springboarded up into like the upper echelons of wealth uh, in lots of ways, but to include using like green technology and stuff like that. And so he got like this cult following, and it all built up throughout the years, and eventually it got to this point, and he's actually like bought X, and he's running all sort of technological companies and stuff like that, to include the Tesla stuff. The other day, Tesla Cybertrucks, which I've seen out in public, man, we got 3 people up in the building. Y'all some damn night owls. So I appreciate y'all, but I'm about to get the hell up out of here. I saw a Tesla Cybertruck up in the public. Some ballers around here. But even since then, as you might have heard, there's actually a recall on all the Tesla Cybertrucks. And it's probably from a couple of different problems, but like one problem in particular, if I read it correctly, was like the accelerator. You could push it down and mess up and accidentally keep the accelerator down, and then you're just barreling towards devastation. I don't know, but I have heard that there's been no reports of deaths or anything because of this kind of like um, this error. And so they recalled all the Tesla Cybertrucks, and they're going to get the gas pedal worked out and the computers all worked out and stuff like that. But certain stuff like that could prove to be Quite expensive, I'm sure. And then everybody's attacking Elon Musk. I'll just mention it. You probably already know or have heard from somebody else that um, unless everything's a show and then Q is working behind the scenes with Donald Trump and they're on 7D chess, unless that's the case, it seems as though Elon Musk was supposed to be like a role model for all of us, except he started saying stuff about free speech and loving babies and stuff like that. And everybody like turned against him because of that. Just flat out turned against him. And now he's like Donald son Trump's son of Satan or something like that. Like they hate his guts now and they'll do anything to take him out. He's certainly being sabotaged, and then certain countries, there are countries after Elon Musk. And I wanna like dwell upon that before we get up out of here. Whatever's our situation, whatever's your situation out there, it's gonna be a little bit different from mine, but ultimately we're kind of in the same boat too at the same time. And that's why I think we should work as a team together and use teamwork because, like, dude, and this goes for all of us. Certain people are having terrible times right now. Certain people are making way more money than, say, you or me right now. And they're living terrible, hellacious lives that they wish they could get out of, but they can't get out of. And then, like, some people are living these wild movie-esque lives in which whole countries seem to be coming after that ass, to include Australia. Like Australia, Brazil, and all sort of people want to get at Elon Musk's ass, dude. It's like at least I don't have them coming after. Yeah, okay, I don't have them coming after me right now. I don't have Brazil and Australia and everybody's rogue governments trying to get at my ass. But that's also one thing that I wanted to dwell upon, and it's another reason why to live stream every day. Because this, a lot of people think, oh, that guy, he's a show, that guy's a show, they're all a show, and I'm the good guy. I know all the good stuff, but they're all shows, and they all sold out. All these people, these celebrities, I hate them. They work for the devil, and they're all, like kid grabbers and stuff like that. But they're not, right? I mean, that's what some people think, but no, not everybody's like that. Not everybody's in on this whole Q plan in order to. Not everybody is. Like, some people are organic human beings. Um, but what I wanted to say about it was, from what I've seen, truly, sometimes things happen organically, and then sometimes the government will come after you like savages. They will savagely come after you. All right, our government in particular, but all these other governments, they'll get at you as well. And you got a guy like Elon Musk. It's like, okay, some people might be jealous of him. They might say, "Oh, he's got so much money. I would like to have that sort of money. Why does he got that money? Why does he got all of it? Man, I don't got any of it. I got so little of it. He's got all the money," and they get all jealous. But this guy has countries after. That's the thing about it. I mean, if you consider it real, like they're really getting at him, all right, that's a lot of fucking pressure. I can't remember the last time whole countries were trying to get at my wealth, right? And so one of the reasons to live stream, and I don't know if it's Alex Jones who mentioned it, but he said this is what we need, and I believe it. I kind of believed it even before he said it. That everybody needs to start talking right now. Because you know how it goes. It's like you don't want to say this, you don't want to say that, you don't want to. You might think this thing, you might think these things, but you don't want to say them. Especially don't want to say them on the internet or it gets recorded because somebody probably going to get at you about that if you say anything that's uncouth or something like that. Like they might get at you and might try to ruin your life. And that's why most people don't do that, to include myself. That's why we don't do that. But there's certain things that it's almost like we're itching to say, and it's the right thing to say, and somebody should say it, but we just like don't do it. And then there's people out there who really put it all out on the line, in my perspective. Or maybe they're all shills and they all work for Jewish people or something, but some people put it all on the line, even though they've amassed such wealth and influence that will never that we might not never get to the level to, but they put it all on the line. Even with as much as Elon Musk stands to lose, he's going to put it all on the line. He's going to put it all on the line, and then someone like me, this little guy over here, I'm scared. But the thing is, he Elon Musk needs my help. Elon Musk perhaps needs your help, because if he's talking about free speech and he's going as hard as he is, and whole countries are coming after that ass, it's like man, maybe someone could help out. Maybe he could be a distraction. He'd say, "Hey, over here, I'm crazy. I'm a crazy effort too." And stuff. He starts saying, "I love babies. I love babies too." It's like, "Oh, Christ is King. Don't hurt him. Don't hurt him." Because if it was a million of us all at the same time, 2 million, 3 million, whatever, if it was all of us at the same time talking that shit, I think they would have a harder, more difficult time trying to get at Elon Musk about whatever he's saying. The thing is, when he's standing out there by his lonesome, of course, that's when he's most vulnerable. All right, so we're gonna get up out of here and stuff. I'll holler at y'all tomorrow. We're gonna keep it going. All right, we're gonna keep it going every day, and they can't stop us. Why? Because the macho madness. All right, and we know it's the final days, and we know that they're perverts. Right? Um, we're gonna get our rest. We're gonna get our um, vigor, stuff like that. And we're gonna get it together. I'm gonna holler at y'all about some more of the developments tomorrow, and y'all have a good night. And I'll holler at y'all a little bit later.